Wednesday, the 3rd of July. Welcome, everyone, to Business Morning. We're live to you from Channel's global headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria's financial and economic capital. Let's go over a little bit. The big story yesterday was Nigeria's first quarter 2019 capital inflows up massively to $8.45 billion US dollars, but an investment bank, United Capital, issued an an analyst note says, well, that figure sounds very cheerful, but the fleeting nature of the rebound is what they call the devil in the details. So let's take what they call a deeper dive into yesterday's numbers, of course, which everyone already has. The total capital inflows in the first 3 months of this year was $8.45 billion US dollars. We'll round out of that just to give you about $8.5 billion US dollars. Breaking it down, you find portfolio investment coming in at $7.1 billion US dollars. Thus, portfolio money goes into money market funds, into stocks, into bonds, and what have you. And you have other investments, which is just about $1.1 billion US dollars. Then foreign direct investment came in at a meager $243.4 million US dollars. So in just a very summary, you find out there the money market investment out of the total $8.45 billion was $5.9 billion US dollars. That's accounting for nearly 70% of the headline total. So, what does it mean? United Capital says the concentration of foreign investors in portfolio investment in Nigeria, while the country's much-needed foreign direct investment continued to languish, says a lot about their level of confidence in the Nigerian economy. United Capital continues to say that, hence, the need for the current administration to double down on efforts to buoy investors' confidence and address structural challenges in the system. So that's putting yesterday's capital importation report in perspectives for you. All of you on social media, that's putting it out there for you. If you are not yet there, you can join the conversation right there. Say it was a fleeting nature to get that $8.45 billion US dollars capital importation in the first 3 months of this year. Meantime, President Buhari says he will use a formidable team, quoted unquote, to implement his programs during the second term. That's already underway. So everyone is asking, where is the team? He said they will be formidable, but where is the team? So everyone is waiting on the next few days to see the disclosure from Mr. President about who is doing what for the next 4 years. Mr. President went on to say yesterday that it is not an easy job to sell the administration services. He says we're doing unpopular things and facing powerful individuals and taking on vested interests who are accustomed to the corruption era. And if there's one story that's already also trending right now on social media, it was a statement credited to the new Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde. He says Oyo State is technically bankrupt, and that's what he says as he resumes leadership the state for the next 4 years. He says, quote, if I take it, that is Oyo State, as a private entity, I won't lend a dime to the government of Oyo State. He's a businessman. He says, I will ask them to start winding up proceedings. So let's talk about the business of aviation logistics. Yesterday, NAHCO Avians PLC was at the stock exchange to brief the market about its bond program, infrastructure investment, and the footprint they're set to make across the Pan-African region, in particular the West Coast. So this was what the CEO, the group managing director and CEO, Olatokunbo Fagbemi, told a Channel Television, Temple Ashaju, at the end of the market close, and began to ask her a few things about what's the new idea. She got into office just about 6-7 months ago. What's the horizon for NAHCO and aviation logistics, infrastructure, and investment in Nigeria? Let's take a listen.
When I started the journey, I didn't think it would be easy, but I didn't think that it would be as challenging, but I knew it was a tough journey because we're trying to grow our business, and as at that time, from 2017 figures was 7.8. We're expecting about 9.8 for 2018. And we have a 5-year transformation plan that is to grow the business to 35. So that's an audacious plan to grow from 9 to 35 billion, which is like 4 times growth. So did I think it'll be easy? No. Did I think it'll be challenging? Yes. But did I know how challenging it will be? No, because nobody ever knows. It's a journey of life. You start it. But what you have to do and what I had to do was to begin to think of how to make it succeed. And luckily, I have a team of people that have the skills that together we have a cohesive team. We have Muiwa, who has a background in logistics, Saeed, who comes from accounting as well as transport. There's Ralph Adeoye, who has oil and gas and accounting. We have operations, Herbert, who has been around the world and worked in NAHCO before. And already, I also have within NAHCO a lot of men and women that are working very hard to make it work. So it's been the teamwork that has helped. A lot of people say, how do you cope? I remember we're working assiduously on crowd control. And so if you come into our warehouse area, I tell people, come and visit me in my Oshodi. So we have, you have a lot of people that are trying to make things work, trying to export. Some people are supporting the exporters, not all the time very well. And so I've had to put in changes. We as a team, I've had to put in changes, especially within our export area, to ensure that we meet the safety and security standards of the airlines. And that was the first challenge, because they just said, oh, where's this woman coming from? She doesn't understand things. She's only speaking a lot of English. She doesn't know what it is. And I had to explain to them my background. I've been in aviation. I've worked with the airlines. I've consulted for the Civil Aviation Authority, consulted for the ministry. I've consulted for MPA, NIMASA. So I've worked with the airlines. I know what I'm talking about. For aviation, there's no Nigerian standard. So it's an international standard. So what we're pushing is international standard. Was there a pushback? Yes. But gradually, in all the systems, processes that we have changed, sometime last month, one of them walked up to me and said, Madam, I now see where you're going. That's actually even better for us. So was there a pushback? Yes. And that's change. Change is very difficult, but it's easy when you know where you're going and you have the right set of people working with you. It wasn't easy also to convince even everybody, but gradually we're on the same page. And essentially because what we're saying is it's going to be better for you. If you can put in international standards, then bigger business will come. The export business will be better structured. More cargo will go. The airlines will feel more comfortable carrying the cargo. As business grows, there's a reverse back. It goes back to the supplier. So as we keep meeting the demand, it goes back to the supplier. And what are we? We're in the logistics value chain to help in ground handling. So it's going to benefit everybody. But will we lose something? And that is business as usual. So business as usual is changing to business unusual. But at the end of the day, everybody will be better off for it.
What are some of these transformation plans that you have?
The objective of our transformation plan is built on 5 pillars. So the first pillar is people and culture. So it's essentially about our people, NAHCO people, how we reposition to be able to take up the challenges that will make us consistently competitive. And I was speaking to someone, and the person asked me about my competition, and I said, look, competition for us is not only in Nigeria. Our competition is actually from outside Nigeria. Because for aviation to grow in Nigeria, Lagos is competing with Accra. Lagos is competing with Douala. Lagos is competing with Kigali. Lagos is competing with Joburg. Lagos is competing with Cairo. So, and so on and so forth across Africa. So what do? We need our people to begin to think international, because there's no local aviation standard. So we need that complete transformation to be able to bring the business. We look forward to us being a hub for cargo and for passenger, and for us to be able to have the skills, resources, and equipment to do that. We also realize that operational excellence is important, because that's what will drive the service. So we're putting everything to ensure that we provide seamless operational excellence, whether it's in cargo, whether it's in passenger, whether it's in handling the aircraft. Because we know as we do that, it's more comfortable for the airlines to do business. It's more comfortable for the big freight forwarders to want to do business with us. And that's our focus. Then the other pillar is digital transformation. And when I mention that word, a lot of people believe, oh, you're going to send everybody away when you automate. No, we're looking at increasing business. So, yes, we're going to put technology. We're going to put technology that will drive the operations, technology that will make us more efficient. But we're training our people. We're not going to throw them away. So as we expand the business, there are more things for them to do. Then the other pillar that we're also looking at is diversification. We have a group structure, and within the group we have mainland cargo options, which is a logistics company. So we're also looking at how to expand the scope of mainland cargo options from air, land, and sea. And this year, mainland cargo has started business in Apapa, opened a seaport office, and the business is actually growing. So we're looking at all the areas of supporting logistics. We also have our NAHCO free trade zone, which is the only free trade zone by the air side. And the advantage of that is that if you have high value or fast moving items that you want to add value to and supply across the whole of Western Central Africa, Lagos is rightly positioned. We have a few people in our free trade zone now, and we're looking for more because we have a lot of land that we're ready to give out at the right place for people that want to add value, and that means more income, more income for us and more income for the country. And so I've spoken about our pillars, which is like, and then we're also looking at organic and inorganic growth. So growing from within and growing from without, and those are the 5 pillars for our growth and transformation plan.
Talking about operational expansion, there are so many terminals springing up across Africa. Within the West African region, there are so many airports that are under renovations as well. Are you looking at tapping into opportunities in such climes?
Yes, we intend to, but we won't tell you yet the exact markets we're going into. But definitely it's our intention. We have a Pan-African view to our business. And so we're looking at across Africa where we would move. But this year, what we're doing this year is to get things right. So we have invested in our equipment. We have a plan of 3.5 billion. So far, we've spent about 1.5 billion, and by the end of the year, we would have spent 1.8. We have equipment coming in every day. Yesterday, we had about 2. They're coming in built. And so we believe that once we get that right, we get our operations better and positioned for the internet, then we begin to look at the external world. But what we're doing is that in every investment that we're making, whether it's in our people, whether it's in our systems, whether it's in digital, we have that ultimate goal in mind. Then we will get it right, and then from there we'll move across Africa. We intend to, and we're not shy about that vision.
In our last conversation, you hinted of a capital raising. Is that still a plan in the works?
We are engaging KPMG right now for the transformation plan. We know that for us to grow, we need to raise capital, whether it's debt or equity. But like I said, this year is our year of building and consolidation. We will, like we said during the facts behind the figures, come up with specifics after we get it right. But we need the company to be in the right shape. We need things to work the way we are. We need the foundation to be completely set, and then we build a house on it. We definitely have to, because we're growing 5 times. It's going to be difficult to do that without raising capital in one form or the other. In
terms of the Nigerian aviation sector, what are your views of the shortfall that we have in infrastructure?
I think the gaps that are in the aviation industry, if you look at the aviation industry, the major place where there's infrastructure is in the airports, and then the other bit has to do with the landing and parking, the landing instruments. So you'll be looking at FAN and NAMA, and government has done a lot of investment in that over the last couple of years. So I can tell you that the opening of the Abuja airport definitely helped our operations, because the baggage hall there is easy for our guys to work in.
Olatokunbo, five with me, the Group CEO of NAHCO Avians PLC, speaking with Temple Ashaju, our business correspondent. Temple is live to us now from the Nigerian Stock Exchange studios in downtown Lagos. Temple, good morning. Coming here. This was a very interesting conversation yesterday. What else did you learn from this conversation and listening to the facts behind the figures presentation, and where this aviation infrastructure logistic company is going from here?
I think it would just be the fact that NAHCO is trying to retain its pride of place in the market. The fact that the competition in that segment of the market is now looking very healthy with the entrance of NAHCO PLC. That means it's time for this company to really up its game, with the fact that it is also tailoring its developmental reforms along with the reforms of the federal government, in terms of the fact that they are trying to now go into export, the diversify with the introduction of mainland, as we heard from the CEO earlier, Boson.
Okay, so let's take that a bit forward and check through the market. The stocks were still locked in negative mode yesterday. The NASD index took a deep dive, about 1.5%, while the Treasury bonds remain very active. Take us through the trading day.
Thank you, Wilson. Well, basically, as you know, the market was down again yesterday, as you said, 0.74%. We saw the equity capitalization, falling to 12.9 trillion naira eventually, due to some 93.8 billion naira that was lost yesterday in the market. And of course, that signifies that the downtrend that we saw on Monday, dovetailed into the trading session on Tuesday. And that's how we got to where we are now, 12.95 trillion naira in terms of equity capitalization. You got a very battered market breadth yesterday, 23 losers as against just 13 gainers in the market. Earlier in the day when the market opened, we saw some good gains, some buying sentiment in the market, but eventually, minutes to the close of business, we saw that the consumer goods segment of the market was really in bad shape. Nestle was down, international breweries was down, and that really weighed down the performance that we saw in the market yesterday. If you look at the activity level, it was positive though. We saw some more buy sentiment yesterday. We saw some 2.88 billion naira in terms of value of the entire transactions in the market. But the total trade, for the top trades, we saw Guarantee Trust Bank doing the most there yesterday, lost some 8.11%, and that negatively impacted the banking segment of the market. We saw 24 million units of the shares valued for some 742 million naira traded in the market yesterday. And the only segment of the market yesterday that was positive was industrial goods segment of the market. And why was that? Because we saw CCNN and WAPCO, two key companies in that sector, really doing well. They're cement companies, actually. They gained yesterday, and that was how we saw that side of the market well impacted positively, up some 0.82%. But for the energy stocks, you got only two key companies, O&O and Eternal PLC, both at par, 3.65 naira now in terms of value. Yesterday, settling at that rate yesterday in the market, and that's due to some losses. For the unlisted securities market, we got the markets down yesterday by 1.91%, a reversal of those gains that we saw in the preceding trading session. USI came in at 732.95 with a market capitalization of 526.58 billion naira. The volume of transaction was just 19,216. And all that transpired on the transactions that we saw across the counters of Afriland, CSCS, WAMCO, and NDEP, that's Niger Delta Exploration Production Company. For the fixed income side of the market, bonds yesterday was not looking too good. Benchmark yields advanced by some 2 basis points. We got notable movement on the April 2023 security, where we saw, which has, of course, a 12.75% interest rate. That was where we saw significant movement yesterday. But basically, trading tilted to the negative territory yesterday in the market. And if you look at what we have in terms of total deals, was 18. Total value was just 7.48 billion naira. For the treasury bill side of the market, that's still on the fixed income side of things. We got a
total deals in the secondary market, total deals was 249. Total value was 140.57 billion naira. And that's largely a representation of the positive movement that we saw in that side of the market. Yields fell by some 6 basis points on the side of the market.
Tempo, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's get back to you later on the program. One story coming through right now, I'm sure you're going to look into this. Temple is the company secretary of 40 Oil PLC has sent in the resignation, and then the stock exchange publishing that story right now. The resignation effective from Monday this week. The company secretary of 40 Oil PLC has resigned, and there was no notice of who is replacing him as the company secretary for 40 Oil. Olagbende has resigned from 40 Oil. Let's take a break, everyone. We'll come back to talk about President Buhari's hunt for increased tax revenue. We have a new database